Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch another lovely day on deck here in the Ozarks. It looks like, although I think starting tomorrow or Friday, it looks like we've probably got some more rain coming in. Doesn't at this point look any kind of severe weather, just some rain. And as much as we've had rain over the last week or so, we certainly could use it around here. Overall, we're still below where we need to be. Remind you again, this Sunday is our local meeting. For those of you that come and attend, please show up. It should be a really good one. They're always really good, but this one's probably going to be a little bit more special than before. Don't want to give too much information, but I think you guys will really enjoy it. So come on out, same time, same place. If you've never attended, but you would really like to, shoot me an email and I'll get with you on the details of how to get there. I don't post that publicly. People ask all the time, why don't you just put out on where it's at? Because there's crazy people online, and it's just a tiny little bit of a filter. There's no charge. You don't have to submit a DNA test or a background check. I just want to know as best as I can who it is that I'm letting know where we all meet. It's a good sized meeting, 150, 250 people, depending on the day, and potluck. So if you're able to bring a little something to put on the table so that everyone can eat, there's open vendor tables and family friendly. So show up if you're able to. It'll be a really good one. You won't be disappointed. My video yesterday, the title was, have we lost the war? Did we lose the war? Some people got a little upset at it. Said that I was defending China and that I was, basically I'm not a patriotic American because I'm saying that, China might have the capability of defeating us, and at least in the trade war, and who knows, militarily maybe. That has nothing to do with patriotism. That's being, looking at the facts and seeing the decline in America over the last few decades, whereas in the last few decades, China has been putting massive amounts of effort into being the top dog. And it doesn't mean that they're there yet, but they hold a lot more cards, I think, than most people realize. And as much as I've disagreed in a lot of ways with what the Trump administration has been doing, it's mostly because I think too many people just blindly have faith that, there is some kind of deep, dark 5D chess plan, and that all we got to do, no matter how bad things get, is just trust the plan and just let these, leaders run everything, which is exactly how we have gotten into this situation. Okay. The situation that we are in America, that's how we got here, is by blindly trusting leaders and not really holding them accountable to their actions. So anyways, a lot of people think that there's some big, amazingly secretive, integral just plan that the average American is just not intelligent enough to comprehend. Like you and I, we couldn't figure this out, and even if we were told the whole plan, it wouldn't even make sense, because we're just not smart enough. That there are people on this highly spy, James Bond, Jason Bourne level of secrecy and intelligence that have figured out this. It's the tentacles are so deep, and we just have to trust that they got it all figured out. The reality is that there's no evidence to show that. There's none. There's no evidence whatsoever. I've been in this game for years now, and I have done my best to be open-minded and to try to see if this trust the plan narrative has something to it, and it doesn't. It doesn't. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that there's no evidence that there is some deep, other than like the little dark corners of the internet that want to, spin wild conspiracy theories. And so the unfortunate thing is you've got lots and lots of Americans that buying into this. and believing that as bad as this is hurting the economy and our pocketbooks, the tariffs and all this other stuff, that there's this big plan and it's going to work out. But what if there isn't? And yesterday I said that China was going to see Trump backing down, and he did. A lot of people call me liar. Watch the video yesterday. Fox News aired it. And he said, in fact, that the tariffs were not going to last, that he was going to back down off of them, that there would still be some tariffs, but he was going to back down off of the high tariffs, and that he was not planning on playing hardball. That, yes, China needed to come to the table, and if China didn't come to the table, we would dictate the terms, but he was not going to play hardball. He was going to back down. And I've been telling you how the White House has been for the last couple of weeks, just kind of getting this narrative out that's saying pretty much the same thing, that, we think that China's going to come to the table. So we think they're going to back down soon. And what that's doing is kind of helping them, softening the blow with the markets. People in the markets, well, maybe we shouldn't sell out. Maybe we shouldn't, pull all of our money out of the banks because there's a deal coming soon, when in fact there isn't. Because just this morning, the news that about China is saying that, well, now they might consider. If Trump backs down off the tariffs, then they might consider opening dialogue. So there's not been any dialogue. Chinese news media is reporting that Trump panicked, that Trump backed down, and that it looks weak on the Americans' part because China didn't. China stuck to their guns, and Trump was the first one to blink. That's exactly what I said yesterday. Remember back in COVID. I said this over and over and over again during COVID. It didn't matter whether the disease was as bad as it was, as bad as it was portrayed. What mattered was the perception of the people. The people panicked because they were told to panic, right? Well, this is a game of perception. And right now on an international stage, the perception is that Trump laid this gauntlet down, and he was going to be this tough guy, and he was going to he jacked up these crazy tariffs, and he caused global markets to go into a tailspin, and lots of people lost money. Yes, people made money, but a lot of people lost money. It's been chaotic and havoc all over the world for the last month because Trump decided to throw these tariffs out there, and then all of a sudden he starts to back down off of them. And so on a global stage, you've got a lot of countries now starting to think, wait a minute, what this up and down, back and forth, why would we want to tether ourselves to this system, to this currency, to this economy, to this man, when it seems like it's just all over the board and it's not benefiting us at all? You've got China over here that seems to be very stable. They've been going around the world for the last several years trying to bring peace and bring economy and trade and stuff. I mean, it's perception, folks. And this idea that America in the end is going to get these trade deals just because we push our weight around, many other countries are going to start seeing that. And there's those little cracks already showing that. Yes, there's some countries that are just going to fall in line, but others are not. Even Japan is starting to see, they've got a scheduled a meeting with China coming up where China and Japan are going to start talking about trade relations and that don't include the United States. The same thing with the European Union. China's doing the same thing there. So these policies, while they could potentially end up being very good, there's some evidence, at least growing evidence, showing that they may not. And that's what I've been trying to tell you, is that stop blindly having faith in someone, anyone, any man, any woman, any human. Stop it. Stop blindly having faith. If it works out, if Trump ends up being right, then that's great. That's great. We get a prosperous nation and all this kind of stuff. But if he's wrong, it's disastrous. It's absolutely disastrous. And that's what I've been telling you. I'm not telling you that he is wrong. I'm telling you to prepare for the case that maybe he is wrong. I mean, look at the other stuff. There's lots of signs that there's buildup of forces with the intent of war in the Middle East. Just yesterday, you know, this whole peace deal with Iran that the United States is doing, and then, you know, in the last week or so, it's looked like Israel's been the outside person, you know, saying, well, we might just bomb Iran on our own, and we don't have a lot of faith that the Americans' deal is going to be beneficial to the Israel. Well, yesterday Donald Trump said emphatically that he and Benjamin Netanyahu are on the exact same page, that what Benny likes, Trump likes. What Benny thinks, Trump thinks. They're on the same page when it comes to Iran. So does that mean that there probably is a conflict in building? Because it looks like that with the buildup of troops. These things may end up working out for us. I'll openly admit, I don't have any crystal ball. I don't know how it's all going to play out, but I can tell you the perception doesn't look good. The possibility of them collapsing and failing, it's there, and we should prepare for that. And that's what I've been telling you. There's been too many people. It's not Donald Trump. It's conservatives. I've never been able to figure it out what it is about them. I'm old enough to remember back before Donald Trump, you know, when it was George W. Bush. You know, remember Bill Clinton? Everyone was panicked that they were going to take our guns because it was Bill Clinton. And there was this, you know, during his time, people were trying to buy up guns and ammo. And then George W. Bush came into office and everyone was like, we're okay. You know, the militia movement built up during the Clinton administration. And then George W. Bush got in office and it all kind of fizzled away and it was okay and everything's great. When in fact, we were just as much in danger under George W.'s presidency as anyone else. I mean, 9/11, the Patriot Act kind of proved that. We're doing the same thing. Oh, it's okay. Trump's in power. We just got to trust him. Everything's going to be great. It's way better than Joe Biden or if Kamala got in office. Yeah, I mean, everyone realizes that. But that doesn't mean everything's okay. Doesn't mean that this plan's going to work or there really even is a real plan. I mean, a lot of people are starting to believe that they're just flying by the seat of their pants at this point. So you have to start getting ready. You may not like what I say. You may not agree with what I say. But what I say has some, you know, validity to it. And you should at least think about it. You know, it's a smart man that can entertain an opposing thought. And I'm telling you, there's increasing odds that the whole trade war stuff and the Middle Eastern stuff and even what's going on with Russia and Ukraine is going to backfire. And if it does, that could lead to some really hard times for us as Americans. And that's why you need to be getting ready. It's not why you need to be out there producing food and why you need to be stocking up and why you need to be making sure your skills, your training is up to par, whether it's defense and shooting and splinting wounds and putting tourniquets on and growing herbs and making medicines and building things and fixing things and building community with the people you know and trust around you. Those kinds of things need to get done quick, because all this stuff that's going on, if it doesn't work out right, if Trump's wrong and his plan doesn't work, it's going to be some pretty hard times for us, folks. Even if the plan does work, we're probably still going to have some hard times getting to the good stuff. So you need to get stocked up and get ready and get prepared. You may not like me, you may not like my words, but if you were honest, you'd be real hard to prove that I'm incorrect in what I'm saying. So get ready, get your houses in order, and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.